Hi guys, I see everybody's coming on. Hang on, I'm getting situated here. Let me see. How do I share my screen? There it is. There you go. Okay. Okay. Oops. Which one are you seeing? Which one are y'all seeing? I'm not sure. What are you guys seeing? Are you seeing both of the slides? Or are you just seeing one slide? Because I have no idea how Zoom works. Put it in the chat. Let me see. Say if y'all can hear me, put something in the chat as well too. And I think this is going. Let's end this slideshow. I can hear you good. Okay. All right. So you can hear me, and let me see. I think this is like the display on my thingy is. I'm gonna put this over here. This, I know what this is. Like the display is doing the duplicate. Let's fix that real fast before everybody gets on. That's like a new monitor I have. So duplicate, no, extend. All right, now you're talking. Keep changes. Okay. Okay. All right, we're gonna get started. I think I got it. Let me know. Can you see? I'm sharing. What screen am I sharing? Stop share. I'm gonna share this screen. Yes, that's good. Okay. Okay. Let me know. Now what do y'all see? I have no idea. Do you see like the presentation, or do you see it in like where you can see the next slide? What do you see? Tell me. I'm still like trying to figure Zoom out. It's kind of hard. I'm not quite getting Zoom 100%. I'm not, yeah, I'm in chat right now. I see a purple house with the next slide. Okay, so you do see the next slide. I don't know what the hell is going on. I have no idea. I don't quite understand Zoom. I don't know if it's just like technical difficulties or what, but I don't know why I can't get Zoom for some reason. Okay. So I'm not sharing my screen. So now y'all just see me, right? Just want to make sure y'all see me. Okay. Yes or no in the chat. Okay, now you see me. Now I'm going to share my screen. Maybe it's just this, actually. Let's see. And if I do this, what does that mean? Now what do you see? Tell me in the chat, what do you see? Is it like PowerPoint or is it like the slide, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna undo this monitor. I think this monitor is screwing everything up. Let's stop share. Now, okay, let's go back. Now can you see my thing? Now you just see the presentation, right? You got to just see the presentation, right? Or no? Okay, all right, let's get started. Now I think I think the monitor is screwing everything up, the other monitor. So, share. Okay. All right, can I still rehab in this market? That's our webinar. All right, so people are slowly coming on anyway. So welcome to the party. All right, welcome to the party. All right, so we're gonna get started. All right, this is like webinar number, I think maybe 7 or 8 in this series of webinars I've been doing every single week for the past like 6 or 7 weeks, right? So I'll do one more webinar next week and then I'm gonna take a break. I'm tired. All right, but at least I covered a huge basis. All right, you can go and find, all of the webinars will be on YouTube. If you missed any of the webinars, they're gonna be on YouTube. You can go to Stacey Rossetti Teaches. You can also on YouTube, or you can go to stacyrossetti.com, right? And we're going to make a section there where it says like free trainings, and then you can go there and you can find them there as well. So that is where so everybody's emailing right now. It's like, can I see this video? Oh, I missed this webinar. I missed this webinar, right? So essentially what I'm saying is that you can either go to stacyrossetti.com or you can go to Stacey Rossetti Teaches on YouTube, and you'll be able to find all of these trainings for free, okay? And just in case I forget, all right, this Saturday I'm doing a workshop. It is from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and it's like super simple real estate investing for beginners. All right, super simple, and it's $28. You're going to get me for $28 for 4 hours, and I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to get started in real estate business, right? So I highly recommend that if you can join us, all right. If you can't make it, you can still pay $28 and then you'll get the replay. All right, so that means you can watch it, whenever you have time, you can watch it. But essentially, I'm going to do a workshop this Saturday from 9 to 1, and everybody will get an email with the link in that, and then also a replay to this webinar as well, okay? And then if you want to join, you can come hang out with us on Saturday. For just $28, you got me, all right? Okay. Ask me whatever questions. We can go over everything, get started. What do I do? All this kind of stuff, okay? So, and we will be going over in the workshop, like wholesaling, rehabbing, and creative deal structuring. I mean, that's essentially what we'll be talking about is like how to get started and what should you be focusing on exactly in the market right now, and how do you get started doing that, okay? All right. All right, so let's get started. So can I still rehab in this market? All right, that's the question that I've been asked over and over and over again for the past couple of weeks. I have students calling me and scheduling, and like, I have a rehab right now. What should I do? Or I'm about to buy a rehab. What should I do? Or what type of rehab should I do right now? So the question that I'm going to answer is, should you be rehabbing right now? Really? That's the question. What do you guys think, actually? In the chat, I want to know, do you think that we should be rehabbing right now, coming into a downturn with all the craziness that's going on? Should we be rehabbing? And if you do think that we should be rehabbing, what should we be rehabbing? What type of houses, or where, or what do you think? All right, so just put in the comments so I can see. I want to see what everybody's thinking right now. Also, introduce yourself in the chat. Let everybody know who you are, where you're at, and put in there also, where are you from? Because a lot of people like around the country are starting to watch me, which is awesome. And so I always want to know, like, where is everybody like from? I'm originally in Atlanta. All right, I'm in Atlanta, so. But I love that everybody around the country is watching. I'm here to help everybody. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Chat. What's going on in the chat here? Let's give some chat. And also, I don't know why this chat doesn't work. This is why I wanted to do the video thing. Okay, here it is. So I'll have to do this. Anybody? Okay, only great deals, presentation, and you. Okay. So nobody's putting anything in the chat. So put who you are, where you're from, and then like what kind of deals should you be focusing on right now if you are gonna rehab? Or you could just be like, I don't know. That's why I'm watching this video. I have no idea, Stacy. Please tell me, should I be rehabbing? All right. All right, cool. All right, so let's get started. Can I rehab what can I still rehab in this market? All right, so if you have been watching my webinars, then of course you know over the past like 6, 7, 8 weeks I've been doing webinars, and you know everybody knows about like the COVID virus and like the real estate market, and everybody is questioning, right? Everybody's questioning what's going to happen, right? What's going on, right? Is the market going to crash, right? And so, you know, basically from my personal opinion, and I don't really honestly follow a lot because I don't want all that negativity in my life, honestly, and I got things to do, right? But I do every once in a while check the numbers and see what's going on and stuff, and try to kind of educate myself on the markets that I'm interested in, and see what's going on over there. But you know, what's happening is that it's a global crisis right now. I mean, literally the entire world is having issues, right? And it's not just the United States, right? So my personal opinion, when like everybody's having, I mean, there's never been like a global crisis like across, like, you know, where every single country is having this, you know, than for a while, you know. So it's like, you know, usually they're always just like, okay, in the United States, we've got whatever we've had in the United States. So I think honestly, because it's like global, I think there's going to be like major issues in the economy, in the world economy, global economy in the United States, and you know, my state and all the different states and stuff. So I'm personally just really paying attention to like I'm paying attention to the national market, but I'm also paying attention to the markets that I'm very interested in, right? And where I want to be focusing on, and I'm hoping that the prices drop on the areas that I want to buy in, so that I can go and buy some deals and get some good deals, right? And I'm reading so much, and it's like nobody knows. It's so annoying. Like I'll read one article and it'll be like, oh, we're only dropping like a couple of percentage, and like another one says like 30%, you know, in like the real estate market, and I'm like, what? Nobody knows. Everybody's just like speculating. And the thing is like all the numbers for like March are out for like the real estate market, but there's nothing for April out at all, you know. So it's like April is the month that everybody wants to know, and I'm like, come on, bring me those numbers so I can see them. So anyway, so I'm very interested to see what happens, and I'm also preparing. I'm preparing, right? The one thing that I love about the real estate market is that in an upturn, you make money, and in a downturn, you make money, just as long as you know exactly what you should be doing and where, right? So that's why every single one of my last 8 webinars, or 10, I've done like 10 or 12 webinars in the last 8 weeks are really kind of like, let's prepare for what's to come, right? Okay, so what's wrong way? Okay, yeah. So basically the question is like, is the crash in the real estate market, is the crash in the economy going to be a V shape or a U shape? Because everybody's saying that it's going to be one or the other, right? There's going to be some sort of a crash that's coming. And so the question is what? So like basically in a V shape, what happens is it's like a 6 to 12 month drop, a quick drop, and then a 6 to 12 month increase, like back to normal, right? So just a quick V shape, right? Like a quick drop and then up, right? And then some people are speculating that it's a U shape, where it's like 12 months down and then like 12 months back up, right? So it's like a longer time down and a longer time up, which creates a U shape. So that's the difference between V shape and U shape. If you've been watching and following the economy, essentially, this is kind of what everybody's talking about, and I've been reading about, my coaches have been telling me and stuff like this. So the truth though is that, you know, nobody really knows. You know, we're all speculating right now. We're all speculating, right? But we do know, and this comes right from Redfin, this slide, which I love, and I put in every single one of my webinars. It's like, what's going to happen to the economy? Is something bad going to happen? Is something, to the housing market is bad or no effect or good, right? And what, the way that people look at it is like, if there's a crash, it's going to be bad, right? But if there's if there is a crash, it's going to be bad, right? Because that's what most people think, right? But if you're an investor, then you're thinking, if there's a crash, if something's going to happen, then like this could be a good thing, right? And this could be a really good thing. But you got to have your ducks in a row. You got to be educated. You got to be getting your marketing ready. You got to be getting your money ready. And you got to know what to do and when to do it, right? What types of niches to invest in. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So basically, what's going to happen? I have no idea. I just have no idea, right? So, but you know what, but I know what I'm going to do is not stop looking for properties. In fact, I'm in the process right now of buying several lists in several new areas that I've never invested in before. And I'm like, you know what, I really feel like these areas are going to be good areas. So I'm going to just buy lists and I'm going to start focusing on those areas. And I know I will keep contacting sellers, right? I know I'm not going to give up. I know passive income is the best way to build long-term wealth, right? And so I know I'm going to keep going and keep working at this and not give up. And I hope that you guys feel the same way and you do the same thing. Okay. Again, all right, be ready for what's to come. What should you be focusing on right now? You should be focusing on, if you have bad credit, getting your credit in order. All right. If you have a way to get money, get some money, because cash is going to be king. You're going to be able to buy stuff, right, with that money, right? So you need to be talking to all lenders, hard money and private money. And we're going to get into both of those a little bit later in the webinar. You're talking to lenders. And you need to be getting your marketing in order. And we're going to talk about different types of strategies for marketing. And you need to focus on picking a couple of them and then getting those set up, right? And getting those running, getting those moving, right? Because I'm telling you, everybody that knows what they're doing right now, all of the big, players in the real estate investing industry, and it's not a lot. I mean, this is a very small industry, right? But all the big players, they're getting their shit together. That's what they're doing, right? So hopefully you're doing the same thing too. If you're not a member of the Southline REIA, you should join the Southline REIA or join your local REIA, because then you can start meeting other investors and surrounding yourself with like-minded investors, right? So I say join a community of like-minded investors, because if you're in that community, it's going to push you to stay in the community. You're not an island. You need help. You need people around you to help you, right? And above all, you need to learn to invest in real estate. That's it. I'm telling you, right now is the best time. In the good times and the bad times, you can always make money. So let's do that. Okay, and why trust me, huh? I just want to tell everybody you're in the right place, right? I'm here to help you. I have been teaching people how to invest in real estate for many years, all right? And I've done every single type of transaction that you can imagine, right? I've wholesaled, rehabbed, I've done creative deal structuring, which is like one of my most favorite things ever, because you can make the most money that way. I've owned commercial properties and I own storage facilities. So I've done a lot of transactions. I've done hundreds of transactions over the past 10 years, a lot of transactions. And I've been working in the market for 10 years. And let's see, I've rehabbed a gazillion homes. I'm telling you, I was rehabbing on average 15 to 20 homes at a time. All right. It was nuts. Okay. And I've taught students all over the country how to do exactly what I do for the last 5 years. And I love to teach people how to make money in real estate. And I love hearing all the good stories. I mean, I'm talking to a student the other day that he's putting a contract on a property right now. I'm just like, yay, it's so exciting. So I'm here for you. I want to teach you. I've been really just more like local for the past, gazillion years, but I'm starting to like, break out and try to go out more national, help more people, make a bigger impact. So that's why I think a lot of people from outside of the state are hearing about me as well too, is because I kind of am trying to push that, a little bit more. Okay. All right. So this is me and my family, my husband and my daughter, Lillian, husband Pete. We live up in the North Georgia mountains in a tiny house. All right. We try to minimize all of our expenses. As of last year, we got rid of everything. Like we decided that we want Lillian to have like experiences and not things. So she has no idea, right? She has no idea, like what she's missing, honestly, because she just is so consumed. We do so many different things together. We do like traveling and this kind of stuff. So that's us. We believe the concept less is more. So that's kind of what we teach Lillian. Here's a picture of me with the house that I wholesaled, a couple of years ago, right? So out looking at houses and taking pictures of rehabs. And then, all right, this is the type of rehabs that I did. So I didn't do like major big renovations. I did a couple of them. I did a couple of major renovations, and it's just not my cup of tea, honestly. It's not my cup of tea. It's too much work. Too much work to do big renovations, and I'm not good at work. I'm just not. If you're good at work, might be something for you, but I'm just not good at working. I'm good at directing people and telling them what to do, and that's basically what I'm good at, and teaching and facilitating teaching. So, I did, as I went out, and like my budget for my rehabs was like on average around $50,000 to $60,000. That's what I did for every single house. Like literally every single one of my houses was exactly the same kind of scope, same spec sheet. It was very, very cookie cutter. I did the basics, the bare minimum. I did no custom. All right. But I did volume. That's what I was. I was a volume rehabber is what I was. And I had it so automated, right, that I could just take myself out of the equation, and everybody on my team just managed all these things for me, right? And that's what it looked like, right? So basically I went in and painted it and put carpet and paint and like, freshened it up a little bit, and then bing, bang, boom, put it on the market and sold it, right? That's the kind of rehabs I do, right? Now you can go out and you could do super huge big rehabs, but that's not the kind. I just don't like to do those. All right, so now I buy storage facilities. That's what I do. It's my thing, So I drive around and look for abandoned storage facilities that I can buy and fix up. And it's really it's like really kind of renovating, but it's like a different kind of renovating. It's like management. It's like you're buying a business and fixing it up, and then like maybe selling it down the road possibly. All right, that's kind of what I do now. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of rehabbing in today's market. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now, rehabbing in today's market is not going to be easy, right? Rehabbing in any market is not easy. It's not. Rehabbing is not easy. Rehabbing sucks. It's so much work. It's a lot of work. Has anybody rehabbed a home? Put in the chat, put yes, I've rehabbed a home. I want to know if anybody's actually done any rehabbing. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Greg, of course you said yes. Kaylee is there. She says yes. Good. Who else is rehabbed? Kevin's rehabbed. Okay. All right. Yeah. So rehabbing is not easy. It's not easy. Christy says yes. Good. Okay. So a lot of people are rehabbers out there. Awesome. I love it. So I love like the finished product, like finishing. I love getting the big checks, but then the in-between part, like all that's like a lot of work. Dealing with I love spending other people's money. I'm very good at that. And then like all the work in between, I have to direct it. I can't actually do it. I'm a director. And on the back end, like dealing with the sellers on the back end, dealing with the buyers on the back end, it's just so much work. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so everybody knows this. If you've done a rehab, it's a lot of work, right? So you just have to be very detail oriented in order to be able to manage it. Okay, so the challenges of rehabbing in today's market. This is the questions that you should be asking yourself when you're thinking like, should I be like rehabbing a home right now? What type of rehabs should I do? Should I do like in the kind that I do, like smaller rehabs, like 50, 60,000, typical, like go in and fix it up and nothing like major? Should I do rehabs that are like bigger rehabs, you know, 75 to 125,000, you know, or even bigger rehab. Should I do that, you know, and just like custom everything and do all that, $75 a square foot, big, huge houses? Or should I do like rental rehabs? Right? There's a lot of different rehabs out there. So we're going to kind of get into that today. Is what types of rehab should I be doing, and how do I figure out what markets I should be working in, right? Based on my rehabs. And then another thing is, what marketing should I do to find the right properties to buy? All right. So where should I find my houses, and how can I find my houses? How can I find the right houses based on my experience and what I'm doing, right? So so that's what we're going to talk about. That's a challenge, right now, try to figure that out. Can I sell my home? That's a challenge, right? Am I gonna be able to sell it after I do this renovation? Like, if there's a downturn, am I going to be able to sell this house, right? And then, can I still do creative deal structuring for my rehabs? What types of creative deal structuring can I do in order to get a rehab done, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, talk about money and how to go about finding money for your projects. Okay. So what is rehabbing? All right. So if you have to rehab, this is going to be like if you already rehabbed, you already kind of know. But essentially, rehabbing is, and there some people say fix and flip, renovations, rehabbing, right? It's like basically you find a property that needs work. You buy the property, you fix the property up to sell it based on the retail value of that home. You sell the property, and then you make some moolah, right? Sounds so easy, doesn't it? Everybody just makes it sound so easy. Bing, bang, boom, right? All right. So that is what rehabbing is. Which market should I choose? Which market should I choose? Okay, so now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of this, okay? And if you did not watch my webinar on which market should I choose, then I highly recommend that you go, because I did like an hour-and-a-half long webinar on like how to choose the right market for you, like a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure, so it should be on my YouTube page. We're slowly getting all my my videos, my webinars on the YouTube page, so you'll be able to go and find it there. So I highly recommend watching that if you haven't watched it. But essentially, now you need to figure out, and where is everybody? Did you put your location in here? Because I want to kind of like, we can say, okay, where is everybody? Go into the chat. I can never pull this up. Okay, go into the chat and tell me where you're at. Where is my chat? So annoying. Why doesn't my chat come up? Okay, I don't know. Chat's not here. Where is everybody from? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, which market should I choose? So basically right now what's happening is that there's a downturn. Right, we're going into the downturn. All right, which is good, because a lot of investors, especially rehabbers, gone. All right, so which is good. So that makes room for all of us that want to continue to rehab. Right, I'm doing a rehab right now, actually. So obviously you can still do rehabs. If I'm doing a rehab, you can still do them, right? So now with the market, you've got to figure out like which areas are going to be good and which ones are not going to be good. Okay, so so what I look at personally is I look at, like, if you want to be in a major metropolitan area, you know, any type of major city, well, not major, but like essentially like, you know, like Atlanta or like Dallas or Austin, or, you know, the typical in Charlotte, or you know, these kinds of metropolitan areas that are not too big, but they're not too small, then essentially what you got to do is look at a couple of things. You got to look at these areas, okay? And you really, especially now, have to look at these specific issues, all right, and what is happening to the market there. So first of all, you want to look at the job growth, all right? So now you're going to be looking at like, what, like, are there how many companies have like just shut down right now, right? How many companies in that city have shut down? Is it a lot of companies? Is it a little bit of company? You know, is it a few companies? You know, so you want to know over the course of the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, how much job growth is going to be there. So for instance, I am personally interested in Austin, Texas, right? Because I'm originally from Austin. That's where I'm from. My family's still there. And so I want to buy property over there. I've been watching Austin now for about a year and a half, really trying to like figure out when I can jump in. So I've been waiting patiently to do this. All right. So now the issue with Austin is that it's a tech city, right? It's a tech city, right? So there's like I don't know what they're Dell and like IBM and kind of like all these types of like companies are there. And the question that I'm asking myself is are they closing their companies now? Are they like getting rid of employees? Are they like, laying people off? What are they doing? Because essentially, if it's such a tech area, the question is going to be like, what is going to happen to all those tech companies? Right? Are they going to get rid of all these people over the course of the next a few months, or are they not? Now, if they're not, essentially the market is not going to change that much. The market is not going to change. And if you know Austin, Texas, you know it's like so expensive. Like, I mean, average $350,000 a house or higher, for like a typical 3-2. Whereas in Atlanta, it's like $230,000. So and the land is expensive over there. Everything's kind of expensive over there. So I'm really watching the tech companies over in Austin, to see what they are going to do. Are they going to have layoffs, or are they not going to have layoffs? And so you have to have this kind of a market research in the areas that you want to be in, right? And so in Atlanta area, what is happening to all these companies? All right. So basically, I drove around on Saturday in Atlanta, and we went to go run a couple of errands. And I mean, even though it's crazy, even though Atlanta was like open and all these like stores and stuff could open, like there was a lot of areas that there was empty. There was malls and shopping areas that were just completely empty and did not open up. Right. So the question is kind of like, how long are they going to not be open for, and when are they going to open? And so my suggestion to you is, wherever you want to rehab, whichever area of whatever metropolitan that I highly recommend that you keep a close eye on what is happening to the companies in that area, and the companies in that city, to make sure like there's not a lot of like major companies that are shutting down, right? So that's one thing that I would look at. And then number two is I would look at, and then also look at like, are there any companies, which companies are going to be opening up? Are they actually going to open up? Because essentially I read an article that said that even Amazon is looking at going like, just like company, like their employees to go virtual. Can you imagine? Like they were supposed to go and move to like whatever city it was. It was like Raleigh or DC or whatever area they decided to move to. Could you imagine them being like, yeah, we don't want to buy this building anymore. We're going to just like try to figure out how we can just manage everything in their house. And they're like, for all the employees to do stuff like in their house, and we'll just pay them like a stipend or something like that. Can you imagine? Like that was supposed to bring like how many, like I see 200,000 people were supposed to be hired. So, for all those people. So I think it's really going to be interesting to follow the major companies and to see what they're going to be doing over the next couple of months when we start opening companies up and bringing everybody back and stuff. Are they going to go back into their office spaces, or are they not, right? And the time on market is key, right? You want to really pay attention to this when you're looking for your houses. Really, how long do houses stay on market? And over the course of the next couple of months, you want to really pay attention to this, right? You just want to pay attention to how long are they going to be staying on the market. Like, so Austin, everybody's telling me, I mean, I have a friend that's a realtor, and she's like, yeah, no, it's like so busy over here. And I'm just like, so like, now what's the time now? Over the course of the next couple months, it may be different, but I'm watching to see if it drops. So the days on market, the time on market, what is that number in your area, to really pay attention to that? Okay. And then also affordable housing, right? You've got to pay attention to the affordable housing area the affordable houses in your area. And I highly recommend that you focus on affordable housing over the course of the next couple of months, you know, to see like, you know, because that is what's going to sell. That's really what's going to sell. So I was reading an article, like for instance, in Austin, Texas, where houses that are like $1 million, they're not selling, but houses that are like $350,000, they're like selling like hotcakes right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, 300,000, 350 or less, or 400,000 or less. You know what I'm saying? So, so you want to look at affordable housing in your area, which areas, so and you have to meet all these criteria. So you're going to find a market that meets these criteria. So a market that has affordable housing, that has job growth, that has, you know, that doesn't have a long time on the market, right? And has a school, has a good school district. Where in the hell are you going to find that at? Right? I don't know. Right? And then also financing, right? Financing, right? So now you've got to start asking your lenders, you know, private lenders that, you know, they may not care about the market, but your hard money lenders, if you're going to borrow the money from a lender, like a hard money lender, they may not want to even go in that area. They may even want to be like, no, I'm not lending in that area. It's a risky area based on the numbers, and based on this, we're not going to even lend in that area. So you want to be talking to your lenders on a regular basis about what they're doing, because the lenders are essentially going to dictate where the houses are going to be at, right? Where you're going to be able to do rehabs and stuff, right? So, so yeah, I would highly recommend paying attention to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets that I made, and make sure that you find a place that fits all of these areas, because these are going to be the key areas. I feel personally, in my opinion. Now put in the chat if you have anything else that you want to bring up, because I would love to have a discussion about this as well. Okay, if you think that there's any other things that I missed. Where is my thing at? Let's see, did anybody put anything in the chat? Why can't I ever? Nothing. Oh, here's the chat. I found it. Atlanta. Okay, good. All right, Atlanta, Peachtree City, Atlanta. So there's a lot of people here in Atlanta. That's good. So, but now let's see. Okay, finding the moolah. All right, so now we got to find the moolah. All right, so I want to focus on 3 things today: hard money lending, private money lending, and creative deal structuring, and how you can do that right now in today's market and still rehab, right? So I've already told you that like hard money lenders are going to be essentially dictating where we're going to be doing the rehabs. A lot of them are, right? Because if it's a bad area, they're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it, right? So, you know, and I noticed in the very beginning on the upturn, it was like, you know, I was always in good areas because I lived in like the Peachtree City area. So everything was always fine over there. But when I started getting like up into like the Decatur area, there were some lenders that were just like, no, we're not going to be lending that area. It's like, fine, I'll go find some private money then, you know. So that's what I want to say, is that hard money lenders are going to dictate where they want to lend at, and because of that, you're going to see, you know, a shift, you know, in areas that may be focused on, may not. So for instance, like in Atlanta, like East Point, College Park area, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to that area. It's going to be very interesting to see, like, because it was starting to pick up some momentum, you know what I'm saying? But it was one of the areas that really like didn't pick up a lot of momentum, you know. It's like, you know, kind of like it was like rough around the edges. Whereas like Forest Park, like I know over the past like 6 months, like Forest Park was starting to talk a little bit more and more and more about, because they were supposed to be doing a lot of like stuff over the next couple of years. I'm gonna tell you, man, Forest Park, that's gonna be rough over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where in the city are those areas gonna be that you always know? Like for instance, like Peachtree City, like everybody wants to live in Peachtree City, so Peachtree City is gonna be fine. You know, Coweta County is not too bad. Fayette County, not too bad. You know, up in the north here, you know, Marietta, you know, Kennesaw is always good. So it's like you have to pick these areas that and stay, you know, and that's why I'm trying to point out, like, especially in the Atlanta area, like, you want to stay outside I think just stay outside the perimeter for right now until you just watch the inside the city and see like what's going on. And I highly recommend, like, even, I mean, that's what I'm saying, even the Atlanta area, not Atlanta, Austin area is so expensive within Austin. Like I literally am going outside of Austin, you know, and looking at everything outside the Austin, because the Austin area is just so expensive. And I can guarantee you probably all the cities are like that. right? So hard money lenders are going to dictate where you should be focusing, you know, and I would ask your lenders, I would essentially ask the lenders where are areas that you're not lending to and where are areas that you are lending to, right? And see what they say if you're going to be borrowing money from hard money lenders. Now, personally, I feel like you should be focusing on private money lenders right now and finding private money and doing creative deal structuring. These are the two things, right? Because hard money is going to get so expensive. It's going to get so expensive, right? I mean, rates are already going up, you know what I'm saying? So let's focus on finding some private lenders right now, really, and honing in. And how do you find a private lender? You just like ask somebody. That's what you do. Like essentially like, hey, like, do you have any money I could borrow? So that's really how it is you have to build a relationship up and ask. The only way that you're ever going to know whether or not somebody wants to lend you money is to ask them, right? You know, so that's really kind of key. I build my, I'm 100% privately funded, and the way that I get my lenders is through credibility, right? So I'm always posting on social media all the stuff that I'm doing, you know, and so because of that, I've built up this credibility, right? And so, and the thing is private lenders are not going to lend to you unless you have that credibility, right? So you've got to be not be afraid to ask somebody for money, and number two, you've got to build that credibility up. All right, and then finally, creative deal structuring. Okay, creative deal structuring is definitely going to be key, even in the rehabbing niche. All right, so when you're looking for properties, right? When you're looking for properties, you have to be open to doing creative deal structuring, because what's going to happen is you're going to come across sellers that, you know, are behind on their mortgage, right? Or you know, so you got to, or they're going through bankruptcy or something like this, so, or divorce, you know, so you've got to be able to come up with creative ways to help them to get that property taken care of and solve their problem. So essentially what I'm talking about is subject to, right? Learning how to do subject twos, really learning how to do things like a lease option. If you want to do rentals, highly recommend learning how to do for rentals is subject to, and lease options. For rehabbing is like subject to, and then you can even do like subject to would be great for owner financing, because what you could do is you could start paying the mortgage, get the deed and start paying the mortgage, and then just all you have to do is borrow the money for the rehab, right? And that's what a subject to is. And if you don't understand what subject to and lease options and all the creative deal structuring is, highly recommend that you watch the other webinar that I did a couple of weeks ago called Creative Deal Structuring 101. Okay, you can find it on my YouTube page. And so you need to learn how to do like lease options, subject to, and owner financing. Okay, and owner financing is when it's free and clear. Yeah, when it's free and clear, then you can have them be the bank and lend you the money. All right, and most of the time that's going to be a lot more like towards like rentals. You're going to do a lot of rentals. You do a rental rehab, and then you know, because that's what I do basically, is I'll get like, if anybody's free and clear, I'll just like maybe fix it up and then just re-rent it out, because essentially it's, you know, you got a really good loan, you know, for like, you know, 3 or 5 years or whatever it is, so you can just rent that out. Now another thing that you could do, which I know I've heard of actually a couple of people that are doing this, which I think is also a great thing, is partnering with the seller. You could partner with the seller, which is also a great creative deal structure. Creative deal structure that you can do. So you can partner with the seller. So basically, the seller maybe owes like 200,000 on it, you know, and you say, yeah, well, what if we partner, and then I rehab the house and it's worth like, you know, 400,000. I bring the money for the rehab to the table, and then we can split the profit on the back end, something like that. And that is partnering with the seller. So you can also do that, which is a good thing to do too. And there's nothing wrong with doing that as well too. And actually it's very creative to do that and very smart to do that. All right. And then as far as like, finding the money, right? And I told you there's different types of rehabs that you can be doing. And the truth of the matter is there's so many different, I mean, you can rehab a home right now. You can rehab houses, and you can do a small rehab or a big rehab, right? You can do any one of those. All right. But you have to make sure that you're going to be able to sell it on the back end. Right? And the way that you make sure that you can sell it on the back end, right, is, oops, what did I do? This is choosing the right market to do your rehab. So making sure there's job growth, there's a few days on the market, it's an affordable house that people are going to be able to afford, right? Because people are going to be wanting to pay a lot of money for houses. I mean, they haven't wanted to pay a lot of money for houses in quite a while, right? The school districts are good, and and then they can get financing for the property that you're going to sell. Right? I'm trying to sell a property right now, and the buyers, I have an offer, and the buyers are having a hard time getting financing. Right? They're retired and they have money, but they don't have an income. And I'm telling you, that is considered risky right now. And they have like a lot of money in annuities and 401ks or whatever they have, and they live off of that. But like the banks don't want to lend to them right now because it seems risky, because they don't know what's going to happen to the stock markets and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that lenders are going to dictate who's going to be buying what right now. Okay, so you can do any type of rehab, my personal opinion. Some people say, oh, don't do the big rehabs and stuff. My personal opinion, do a big. What if you were in, like, I don't know, California or New York or like in Dallas, or because like it's like Dallas is like the hottest market in the country right now. It's like you're gonna have big rehabs. You're gonna have this. All right. So it's not, I don't personally feel like it's the size of the rehab. I honestly feel the question is, will you be able to sell it in the back end? That's the question. And how much time, make sure that if you're going to rehab that house, how much time is it going to take you to rehab that house? Okay. So you don't want to be spending a lot of time on your rehab. You want to be in and out as fast as you possibly can. It's like Speedy Gonzalez right now, okay? You cannot take a long time to do rehabs. You just can't, because especially if you borrow from a hard money lender, that hold time is going to, those monthly payments that you pay are going to eat away at your profit. All right, so you want to make sure that your Speedy Gonzalez on your rehab, and the market is going to be good. You can be able to sell that sucker. All right, those are, I feel those are the two most important things. Okay. We'll just do questions at the end. If you have questions, just put them in the chat, okay? And then we'll do questions at the end because I can't find my chat anyway. So I'll just go and find it at the end and I'll answer everybody's questions. So you got to market to find these things too, all right? And I'm going to tell you right now, all the free marketing that's out there, don't count on it working. Everybody says, oh, you can do free marketing. Go on Craigslist or whatever you're going to do. Put your bandit signs out, and that, it works to a point. It works to a point. All right. But what I'm personally hearing from all of the investors out there that are big investors is that, and even my list broker, I talked to her and she's like, people are buying huge lists right now. People are spending more money on marketing than she's ever seen in her entire career. And she's doing it for 20 years or whatever. And so the big players are out there. And I'm telling you that if you're going to go through and sit there and try to do a Craigslist ad and try to find a property that way, you ain't going to be doing a lot. All right? So you got to put money into the game in order to make money, because the big players are in and they're going to take over. All right? Because I talked to my list broker and she's like, oh yeah, we got people buying all over. Like I gave her a list of zip codes in one city, and she's like, oh yeah, we got people already buying in that area. It's like, what? She's like, oh yeah, no, it's crazy. She's like, Atlanta market's crazy, you know. So I'm telling you, all the big people in these areas have already like bottled the list. So I put on here like motivated and unmotivated sellers too, right? Because now is the time. Now is the time to be smart with your marketing and to try. If you want to continue to do rehabbing in the area, you gotta do marketing. All right. And so you've got to focus on, and there's two different types of sellers, motivated and unmotivated sellers, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot more motivated than unmotivated sellers. The motivated sellers are going to be like pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, short sales, tax liens, bankruptcy, divorce, evictions, code violations. Those are all motivated sellers, right? Unmotivated sellers are going to be like landlords and free, like inherited properties, right? Land is unmotivated. You know, land's never motivated anyways. But so you want to choose, you want to basically choose which journey you want to go on in your marketing, and you want to just be consistent about that. All right. But I personally feel like you should be focused on motivated sellers. My personal opinion, motivated sellers that that you can do creative deal structuring with, that you can be creative with. That's the type. That's what I'm going to tell you is going to be like the hot thing. So hopefully you educate yourself on creative deal structuring, and you get your marketing set up so that when you get those leads, you can come up with 3, 4, 5 different ways to work with that person. And the more creative that you are, then the more deals you're going to be able to get. Okay. And then the MLS, I'm going to tell you, I know I have students that just go on the MLS and look. So much competition. So much competition out there on the MLS right now. So you just have to be like quick and smart and systematic about working on the MLS. Like I'm telling you, me back in the day, I was just, I had a system down. Like every Monday, my realtor would look for properties for me. And I would have a list of properties, and then every Tuesday I mapped it out. My office manager mapped it out for me, and then on Tuesdays I drove around and looked at the properties, and I would look at like 20 properties in a day. And as I was driving around, I would look at them, and I would just text my realtor, okay, put an offer for this house at blah blah blah, put an offer in this house for blah blah blah. And and that's basically what I did. So all the houses that came out on Monday, I went out on Tuesdays and I took a look, right? And then I would just do that every Monday, and then I would put in like, we put out of 20 houses, we put like at least 5 to 10 offers in, and I would usually get like one house that way. You got to put a lot of offers in order to get a house on the MLS. Lots of offers. All right, it's a numbers game on the MLS. And then your budget, and with marketing, that's what I said, you've got to spend money on marketing. The free marketing is just not going to work. It's not going to work to find houses. Okay. My personal opinion is $1,000 a month. I tell all my students $1,000 a month is where you should be spending for your money to get houses. If you can spend $1,000 a month, then essentially it just becomes a numbers game, right? Then essentially, if you're spending $1,000 a month on at least on your marketing, then what's happening is that you're just, all it is now, because you're going to get a lot of calls. All it is now, can you close the deal? How good are you at closing the deal? And if you're good at closing the deal, then you'll have a lot, then you'll have a better ratio. But if you're not good at, because a lot of people, they do a lot of marketing, but they can't close the deal. All right. And so there's a 2-part equation to that. One of them is like, how much marketing are you doing? And the second one is, how good can you close the deal? Okay. So we're talking about houses now. So we're talking about rental rehabs. We're talking about like average, like average $50,000 to $60,000 rehabs. We're talking about, $60,000 to $100,000 rehabs, and then $100,000 or more rehabs. Okay. In my personal opinion, you can do rehabs in any one of those areas, just as long as your market is the right market for that rehab, right? That's the main thing, right? And so you just want to be very wary about your markets and understand your market, really understand that market. So you have to, in the rehab, so during this time, right, you always, the thing is with rehabbing is that you always got to be hiring contractors, always, no matter what, always hiring contractors and vetting them out, right? And so I'm going through like the process right now, trying to find contractors for a house I'm trying to rehab. I mean, it's just nuts. But a lot of the, like, what I've noticed is a lot of the bad contractors are gone. And it's all good contractor. I've noticed, I've talked to a lot of really good contractors that kind of have a process. And I notice when I talk to them, it's like, okay, I'm going to have you a quote back within 72 hours. And they have a process, right? Whereas, like, gone are the contractors that like text you the number and the scope of work or whatever. So that doesn't happen. That's not happening right now, right? I've noticed that it's kind of the bigger players in the market. My personal opinion is what I'm noticing. And just from hiring contractors right now. You can put your own opinion in if you want to do that. But so what I've noticed, and so the way that I do my hiring contractors is I do I vet my contractors. So essentially I'm asking them questions. Like I'm asking, like, how much money do you have? Right? Because I want to make sure that they have money to, front my deal, because I'm not going to pay them up front. Right? So I asked like, how much money do you have? Like, you don't have any money? Well, then no, I'm not going to work with you. All right. Do you have insurance? And can you add me in as additionally assured? Can you, and then like, who are the vendors that you're working with right now? And can I have them as referrals? I want to make sure that you're paying your vendors, right? So these are kind of the questions that I'm asking when I vet my contractors. And I'm kind of noticing that, like, there's some really good contractors out there, I think. And so it's going to be interesting when I get their quotes back to see what they're going to offer. I kind of feel like they're still high. I really want the prices to go down. I'm hoping that the prices will go down for stuff, because I feel like contractors, they're kind of like sellers. Like they feel like their work is worth more than what it really is. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that, because like back in the day, back in the upturn, I mean, I used to get some good prices. So it'll be interesting to see if the contractors' prices drop, and the suppliers' prices drop as well too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Because especially, for instance, like let's just say windows. Right? I mean, a lot of those windows, like even cabinets, I mean, they're coming from China, right? They come from like China. So it's like, well, now what are we going to do? Where are they coming from now? Say, where are all these cabinets going to come from? Are they coming from the United States? Like it's going to be even double the price, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the prices of the supply of the suppliers and how that kind of pans out right now. If you guys have noticed anything about that, let me know. If you're ordering supplies and you notice like a change, or if you see maybe is there a price increase or decrease in things that you're doing, let me know, because I'd be very interested in that. And, and like, for instance, like lumber was like so high. I know for a long time, lumber was like really high. So I want to know, like, what is like the lumber price going to be now? So these kinds of things. So you want to definitely keep looking for contractors, and you want to get as many different quotes as you possibly can, right? So that you can manage your budget. The rental rehabs, I'm guessing, are anywhere from like maybe $35 to $45 a square foot. The basic rehab, like I did, was like a $45 to a $55 a square foot. The higher but mid range is like a $55 to a $65 square foot, maybe $70 square foot. And then higher, 100,000 or more, is like 70, maybe 70, $65 a square foot or more. And then if you're like super ultra, if you're like, I'm just going to gut everything, like I'll be doing like maybe an $85 square foot. Now, if anybody notices any changes in that over the past couple of weeks, let me know, because it would be interesting to see if those numbers decrease, the per square number decreases. So as I said, I'm doing a rehab right now, so I'm really paying attention to those numbers to see what it comes to. Right, so you want to be working on your repair estimate, right? You want to be working on your scope of work, your spec sheet, and your sizzle features. And I'm going to tell you, over the course of the last, 5 years, buyers are, what's it called? Buyers are spoiled. Buyers are spoiled. I don't know why. We spoiled them. We went in and we took these houses and just made them so ultra beautiful. And I'm telling you, this cycle, like they were not that beautiful in the last upturn cycle. We were not going crazy, but this year, like this past cycle, like I feel like everybody's just totally overdoing all of the houses. Like you could get like $150,000 house with like granite and sizzle features and just like beautiful tile, and it's like $150,000 house, right? So I feel like buyers are spoiled. Buyers are really spoiled. That's how my houses were. I mean, I sold like $150,000 houses, and they were like really nice houses, you know, for $150,000, my personal opinion. And so I feel like buyers are really spoiled right now. So you're going to have to put sizzle features into your renovations. And we'll just, you know, and you know, you want to, when I say sizzle feature, when I say a sizzle feature, what do you think of like sizzle features? What's like a sizzle feature? Like for me, it would be like going into the shower and having like, instead of a bathtub in the shower, having like a shower in the shower, right? Having a really nice tiled shower with, you know, with like a nice like faucet thingy. What are those things called? Shower head and faucet and stuff. You know, that would be like a really nice sizzle feature. You know, backsplash, right? I mean, a lot of houses back in the day didn't. I mean, every house I've ever bought has never ever had a backsplash. But like every house has to have a backsplash, right? That's like a sizzle. And me personally, that's a sizzle feature. Everybody now thinks it's the norm, but I think it's a sizzle feature. What else could be a sizzle feature? If you could think of something, put it into the chat. All right. But yeah, so you want to essentially you want to kind of like have your house stand. I'm telling you, every house is like, when you look at them, you're like, wow, that house looks really good. And it sets, like, especially now, it sets apart the, you know, the buyers, like, you know, the sellers' houses from one another. Because when you go into a rehab and see like an average rehab versus like a totally awesome rehab, the totally awesome rehabs always sell better, right? And that just means that you have to be good at your renovation project and process, right? You just have to be good at doing your scope of work and your spec sheet, and especially your spec sheet, picking everything out and really kind of making sure that everything looks good and matches and stuff like that. Which I know y'all have been in houses that you go in and you're just like, what the hell? Like whoever like renovated this house, you're just like, they literally have no idea what they're doing, right? And if you don't have any idea about what you're doing in a renovation, highly recommend that you hire like a stager. Like they will come in and like do consulting for you and be like, hey, I think you should do this, this, and this. And they'll do it for like very minimal, like a couple $100 to come in and give you ideas. Because I know like my stager, that's what she does. Like she'll just go in and be like, I really see this over here. And you're like, wow, I didn't even think about that. You know, so if you are the type of person that has like no vision, I highly recommend just doing that, right? But yeah, you need to focus on your spec sheet. Really focus on your spec sheet. And the spec sheet, it does not have to be like it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to look, everything that you pick out on your spec sheet has to look nice. I mean, it has to be really nice. You can't go cheap, all right? And then if you have any other questions about the renovation process, but I really feel like in this market, even though it's going into a downturn, that buyers are spoiled. And because of that, your renovations are going to have to be really nice. All right. What do you guys think about that? Let's see in the chat. Put in the chat what you guys think about that. And so now that you're renovating the home, and now that you know what type of renovations you should be doing, even like on a rental rehab, I mean, the rental rehabs have to be nicer. You know, I mean, they just have to be nicer. I mean, which is like paint and carpet and appliances. It doesn't have to have a backsplash or anything like that, but you know, you want to have like a nicer rehab. We still have a shortage across the entire United States. There is a shortage of houses. It's a shortage, all right? So houses should be selling quickly, right? But some houses, I have a house on the market I can't sell, you know, but essentially there is a shortage of houses in the United States and in anywhere, there's a shortage, right? So as long as you do a renovation that is a really good renovation in a really good market, right, then you should be fine. Okay. Now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the creative deal structuring part of it? We talked about the marketing and finding those houses. You are going to notice that there is a lot of short sales that are going to be coming up. And there is nothing, I love short sales, actually. I love short sales. There's nothing wrong with short sales at all. All right. And so basically, the only thing with short sales is that it just puts your house, you know, I mean, it puts your next house into a pipeline, right? So you're just building your pipeline up. So for me personally, like, I love short sales because I'm like, maybe it won't close in 3 months or so. Maybe it takes 3 to 6 months to close. I had one that took like 8 months to close. And so maybe it takes that long to close, right? But that you just know that, like, hey, I have that house ready to go. When I'm ready to go, I just have to make sure I find money. And they give you like 30 days notice. You say, how long do you need to close this house? You're like, okay, I need like 30 days to find money. And then you go out and you like find money. You can always be finding money anyways, but essentially, like, they'll give you as long of a notice that you need to find the money, to say, look, I need 30 days to go find it. And you can go find that money. Okay. So short sales, you're going to see a lot more of as well too. And that falls under creative deal structuring, which I forgot to tell you. All right. Okay, selling. All right, so now you have realtors and you have flat fee listings. I didn't really put in the iBuyer. You know, iBuyers are just gone. They're like, we're out. All right, isn't that crazy? Like, they were in, it was like this huge thing. Everybody was like freaking out about all these iBuyers, and all of a sudden they're just like out, right? It's just like, out, I'm done. So we'll see if they come back in. And the iBuyers are anyways like wholesalers. Like, they're just like huge companies that are just wholesaling houses, you know, they're just buying them, like, you know, cash at cheaper and then reselling them. So you have realtors, and then you have the flat fee listings. All right, you can find a realtor to sell your property. Now, of course, like, you know, the more expensive that your property is, you want to have like a realtor to sell your property, right? I only do affordable housing. My houses are like $200,000 or less. That's what I focus on. So I do flat fee listing. I've been doing flat fee listing now for a couple of years. And I mean, I've saved hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing it. And I mean, a lot of people go, like, on the one that I can't sell, I mean, literally every day I'm getting showings. The issue with that property is that it's on a hill. So everybody's like, I don't want to be on this hill. And I'm just like, so it's a really nice renovation. It's just on this like stupid hill. So I'm having trouble selling it because of that. But like, I'm getting showings. I mean, I probably this week alone, I got like 10 showings, which is like really crazy, you know, in this, like, and so obviously people are going to look at properties right now, and that's like to show you, but it is an affordable house. All right. So the higher that you get, the less people are going to go look at your house, right? The higher price range. So, but the higher price range, you want to have a realtor that represents you, and, you know, so that you can sell your house. They can market it for you. But lower price range, me personally, I just put like flat fee listing. It cost me a couple $100, and then, you know, people go and see it. But you can get realtors for that too. And I highly recommend, like, especially for your first like handful of houses, you get a realtor anyways, because you need to learn how to negotiate. Like, I mean, I've done like 100 houses and rehabbed 100 houses. So like after like 20 or 30 houses, I was like, I know how to negotiate this. It's like, why do I need a realtor in the middle? You know, so I just go directly to the seller and negotiate it with them. But when you're first starting out, you can't really do that. You really need to learn how to negotiate houses, learn what all the terms are and all the different things that you can do. So stick with a realtor unless you're experienced, okay? My personal opinion. And then the days on market, you want to make sure that, remember, again, you watch those days on market. And and then what I did, this is a really good tip, is I would have like a spreadsheet. And when I did my renovations, I would have like 3 columns. So I have all my addresses, and then I would have like at the start of the renovation, at the middle of the renovation, and at the end of the renovation. All right. And I have like this chart, and it was basically like days on market, like how many days on market for each of those times. So if it took like 3 months or 6 months or 9 months to renovate that home, and I knew how long it was going to take, essentially it would be like, okay, in 2 months I looked it up, days on market, and then I also looked up the comps. So I always kept an eye on the comps over the course of the rehab. right? So essentially the comps would be like at the beginning of the market this, and the comp would be like, I mean, the days on market would be this. Next column, comps in the middle of the renovation, and the days on market this. And then comps at the beginning of the renovation, I mean at the end of the renovation, and the days on market were this. And I could really keep track visually of what was happening to my houses. And when you have like several houses, you can really kind of get an idea. That's part of something what I teach is called know your numbers. That's like know your numbers, right? So you really want to know your numbers and understand your market by looking at your numbers, right? So I highly recommend just start this master spreadsheet, and I called it like, I don't know what they called it, I forgot. But and then you could just put those columns and keep track of that. So you can see this. What's awesome is you see, like at the beginning I thought it was going to be 190, and in the middle it was like 200, and at the end it was like 215 or something like that. And you're like, hell yeah, it raised. Or you could say like it would be like 190, 190, 190, or sometimes it went down like 190 to 189 to 187 or whatever. So then you kind of like keep track of your market over the period that you're doing your renovation. Okay, and then I highly recommend getting that property staged. You got to get it staged. Now, in the peak, back in like 2017, 18, 19, I never like staged my homes. Like I would literally put them on the market and they would be gone like in a week. And I was like, I'm not going to waste my money on like staging, you know? But now like you have to stage your properties, you just do, right? So because it's going to be harder to sell your properties, right? It's going to be harder to do that. So you just have to, that's why I said keep track of your days on market, and then put that into the budget. That staging money needs to go into the budget. You need to stage your properties. I'm telling you, you have to stage your properties, especially like if they're doing virtual tours and stuff like this. If they're still doing virtual tours, and this is like a thing that like catches on, everybody's like, I don't want to go out, I'll just like look at my tour. Then they want to like, they visually need to see the room, because I've seen virtual tours where it's like empty, and I'm like, oh, is that like the living room or the dining room? I can't really tell like how it is, and then especially when it's all open concept and stuff, so like if it's visually there, especially in the virtual tours, like it'll really help you to sell those houses. Okay, cool. All right. If you think of anything else on any of this, just put it in the chat. We'll go over in just a minute. I'm going to answer questions. Okay, good. Awesome. All right. So I remind you again, I'm having a workshop this Saturday. This Saturday, I'm having a workshop, super simple real estate investing for beginners. And I just get up here in my studio and I teach. This is my teaching area. I teach for 4 hours. You'll have me for 4 hours, and you can ask whatever questions that you want. And I'll just take you step by step on how to get started in real estate investing. So if you're newbie, or if you have just done a couple of deals and you're like, I need to really scale up, or I need some help with what I'm doing, then definitely Hacker. It's only $28. And then if you can't make it, then you'll get the replay, right? So you might as well pay $28 and then get the replay, and you can watch it when you can. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about real fast is the mastermind, right? So I have the super simple beginners mastermind for real estate investors. Okay. And if you guys are interested, essentially what this is it's like group coaching, right? Group coaching. So you have me as a coach like every other Wednesday, all right, for a whole year, for me to hold your hand and to help you answer questions. We have deals. What do I do? What offers do I put in? How do I know this is a good deal or a bad deal? What marketing should I do? Or how do I scale up, or whatever questions? I'm there to just be there for you, right? And then I have the group coaching. I have this right here is the accountability, which you can go on to Coach Accountable, and you could put in your goals, right? So if you want to say, I want to do one deal within the next 90 days, you can put that in a goal. And then basically the accounting software, the accountability software monitors your goal. It says, hey, like you haven't been doing step 1, 2, and 3 that you put down to get to your goals. These are not getting done. So here's a reminder to get those done. Have you done it now? No, you haven't. Okay, let's get a reminder to do that. So it's kind of it's accountability software. And I highly recommend all my students use it. Put your goals in there, put the main goal, and then put all the metrics to get to your goal, and then it will just keep reminding you, and you can keep track of it. You know what I'm saying? So you're there, and then I'm there, and then the software's there. And then you have also office hours on Friday. As every Friday, I open up my schedule and I'm there for you to answer questions. All my students call and they say like, okay, now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing this. What do I do next? Is this a good deal? I analyze several deals that people were putting under contract on Friday. Talk about marketing strategies. What strategy should I do? These kinds of things is what it is. So anything that you need help on, I'm open for you to be there and talk to on Fridays. All right. And then all the documents, you need contracts, checklists, templates, systems, whatever you need. I'm telling you, I got it all. I got it all. Because I'm like a spreadsheet person, I'm a system person, I'm a like checklist person. Yeah, so like believe me, I got it all. I got it all. Yeah, anything that you need, I got it all. If you're saying like, oh, I need something, I can create it for you because that's how I am. I can just do stuff like that. So if you need that, that's all included. And then also is the mastermind. So we're going to have our mastermind coming up. The first mastermind, or the next mastermind, is a 2-day boot camp, kind of like a boot camp. And we're going to do like one day. We're going to go out and do like infield. Like let's go out, look at some houses, repair estimate, put the scope of work together. I'm going to teach you my Bible, all about my Bible. My Bible is my contract. All right. Started out with 6 pages and now it's like 30 pages long. And that protects me, essentially, is what it does. It protects me. So that's my Bible. I'm going to teach you about that. I'm going to teach you how to do a punch party. You're going to go to my rehab and we're going to walk through and put the scope of work together, put the spec sheet together. So you're going to learn that. We're going to go to a couple other houses and learn how to wholesale and look at houses like that. That's the one day. And then the other day is going to be in classroom, where I'm just like teaching you step by step exactly what to do, helping you with all the challenges that you're having. Everybody gets to help each other do that. And that's the power of group coaching, is that you're going to have me, but you're also going to have everybody in the room, because we're all kind of like, helping each other out. Everybody's helping each other out. Everybody's at the same level. So that is the mastermind. So if you are interested in that, all you have to do is just go to stacyrossetti.com, beginners-mastermind, right? Or you can go to stacyrossetti.com, just click on it, it's right there. And then you set up an application. It's by application only. So I want to talk to you first and make sure that you're a right fit for the program, for the program. So, and it's an implementation strategy session. So essentially, if you're like, Stacy, I want to talk to you and just like get your help on what I should be focusing on. Essentially, that's what I'm going to be doing for you, is just like helping you to move forward to your next couple of steps. Okay. So that's the website right there. And so my question to you is like, what are your next 90-day goals? For me personally, is like, it's getting my marketing together, getting my money together, and looking for properties. That's what I'm doing over the next 90 days, right? So hopefully you're doing the same thing. If you need help, just apply and I'll talk to you and I'll help you as well too. Let's go over the chat here. Okay. How do I get my chat? Come on, there it is. All right, let's answer some questions. Any questions that you have? Any questions? I'm going to stop my share because this is not working. Okay, good. Okay, oh, we got a good one here. I'm doing a full gut with 600 square feet addition in city of Atlanta. Contractors seem expensive. Multiple quotes, $150 a square foot. What prices are others seeing? Where do you find trustworthy contractors? I'm just building my network, so I have minimal referrals. $150 a square foot, that is ridiculous. There's got to be cheaper contractors out there. That is so high. This contractor is just making me so mad. So what I would do is I go to a Facebook group. I don't know if you know about this. Oh, Greg is saying he'll do it. Greg is the contractor. He'll do it for less than that. So there is a Facebook group called, I keep like scratching my nose. I'm sorry, but I got like some allergies, I guess, or something. But anyway, so go to a Facebook group called, I think, do y'all know what it is? Like Connections I Have, I Want, or something like that. Does anybody know about this group? Like Connections I Have, I Want, or something is what it's called. I want connections I have, I want, or connections I have, I need, or something. And that's a really, really good group, because you can go in there and be like, hey, I'm looking for a contractor to do, help me do a rehab. And then you'll get like a gazillion contractors. Okay, so then you can start like one by one going through them. You want to, excuse me, you want to vet them out, because not all contractors are created equal. That's what I'm saying. I have noticed a lot of GCs are out there. For a while there, you noticed. I don't know if y'all noticed. I noticed this for a while there. All the really good contractors, guess what? I couldn't find them because they were out. You know what they were doing? Commercial jobs. Like all the really good contractors, they were like, they don't want to work with investors. They're like, screw investors. Like now in the beginning, in the upturn, all these contractors wanted to work with investors, right? Because they were like, I need to get back, get my feet wet. And so I would find like the best contractors for like pretty good prices and stuff, and then they were just like, I'm so tired of investors. Like I'm out, I'm going to go do commercial, all the good ones. And then we got all like the bad contractors. And now all the bad contractors are slowly going away, and all the good contractors are coming back from commercial and going back into like residential and investing. If you've noticed this, I've noticed this, which is kind of interesting. And it's, I think, because commercial, it's going to be hard for commercial now. I mean, there's not a lot of buildings being built. There's not going to be a lot of building. Big major buildings are not going to be built. Multifamily, I think multifamily is still going to be good. Multifamily is still going to be good, because the issue why is because there is a shortage in houses. There's a shortage in houses right now. There's a shortage in rentals and houses. So I feel like multifamily will still be good. So if you're looking at houses to do like 2 to 10, or more, 20, something like that, you're going to be fine. Just as long as you're in the right market, you keep your rehab budget down, and you get in there and get out and do that rehab as fast as you can. Okay. All right. So no, I personally would not pay $150 a square foot. That is ridiculous. I mean, I think for an addition, I'm thinking it's like around, honestly, I'm thinking it's around $100 to $125 a square foot for the addition. Okay. For the addition, right? I don't see you doing, not for the rest of the rehab, but just for the addition. So just keep that in mind. And fresh out the belly when it comes to this information. Well, interesting. Okay, any other questions? Shortages of houses increase the rental market. Increases the rental market. Yes, like I said, there is a shortage of houses. There is a shortage of houses, which is a great opportunity for builders. But honestly, builders are kind of, they're chilling out a little bit. Builders are chilling out. I think they'll pick up again, but they're just kind of, I've heard and I've been reading that builders are taking a little break. All right. And it's going to be very interesting. What we need to pay attention to over the course of the next couple of months is permits. How many permits are being pulled? So you want to be paying attention to the permit data in your area. I didn't bring this up. I should put this on the slide. In your local market, find out where the permits are being pulled. All right, where are your permits being pulled? Because wherever they're being pulled is where the market is going to be. All right, because the reason why is because all these huge builders, like, I don't know some names of some builders like KB Homes or whatever these ones are, right? What they do is they pay these like data companies to like run numbers for them. I'm telling you, these builders, follow the builders. Follow the big builders, because the big builders know, the big builders of the United States, because there's a lot of builders here that are outside, that are not, like there's Chinese builders. I was looking at a piece of property that I ran across, and like right next to it is a subdivision, but that subdivision that's going up is like owned by a Chinese company. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with that subdivision. Right? But United States builders, follow them and see where they're going and what markets they're in. Because I'm telling you, they are paying these data companies to run the numbers and tell them where like they should be focusing on. Right? So follow the builders. Put that on your notes as well too. Okay, good. Any other final questions? Anything else? So about rehabbing, all right? I kind of hopefully gave you a little bit of an overview. Right? If you're interested in learning how to rehab, getting into rehabbing, creative deal structuring, rentals, small multifamily like 10 or less, and then wholesaling, highly recommend that you check out the mastermind, because that's what I do. That's what I teach, is all that stuff. Okay. If you're interested and you want to coach, then that'd be the perfect thing for you. Okay, good. Anything else? I think that's it. I covered everything. I appreciate y'all coming to hang out with me. I will have the next webinar is not till next Thursday. And if you're here in the Atlanta area, make sure that you sign up for the South Atlanta Rehab meeting. That's this Wednesday. And let's see what else. And then the workshop is on Saturday. Okay. So I will see you there. Y'all have a good night. Bye, guys. Have a good night.